I'm not exactly sure where I want it to fit, because where I thought it was going to fit doesn't, and so I'm going to have to come up with a plan B. Alright YouTube, Black and Blue Garage here, and I actually kind of need your help. I bought this derail cooling fan and radiator combo for my transmission cooler, thinking that I was going to mount this somewhere on the front. Now, I mounted my coolant radiator in the back of this truck, which was quite the project, and I'm glad that I did it. And I did that for a couple of reasons. For one, it allowed me to mount my winch much higher than I would if I had the radiator in the front. And also, if I hit anything on the front, I'm only down a couple of lights and a grill maybe, and I can get one of those from a Jeep XJ. This thing is actually pretty cool. It came assembled, has aluminum mounts on the sides, -6 fittings for your transmission lines to come in and out, and then it comes with about a 2-foot long electrical whip that you could put whatever connector you want on there and run that to either a temperature switch or a switch in the cab, or just have it on all the time. It's really up to you. But here's the problem that I'm having with this. I've been planning for a while now to use this style cooler up at front, which would fit perfectly behind the grill and miss everything except for this winch lockout lever right here. Now, I have a section of my grill cut out so that I could just reach through and operate the lever. That way I can run the winch with no problems. But I won't be able to reach this if this cooler is right here. So that leaves me with another big decision for this truck. Either I can buy a different winch that has a clockable end piece so that I can stick this lever either out the front or toward the back or somewhere like that, and then I'll be able to mount this where I wanted to originally. Or I could go ahead and just mount this next to the engine and put a grill in the hood right above where this fan is. I was also planning on taking this cooler, which is going to be used for my steering, and mounting it to the back somewhere of the derail fan so that the fan could be cooling both cooling cores at the same time. And all I would have to do is run some lines down to the transmission and hook up the steering lines to the steering pump and the steering gearbox. This fits perfectly right here, and it's in a great spot for the transmission and the steering lines. However, that takes up all this space that could be used for tools or an extra battery or whatever else I want to put here. And the whole point of using the car style intake on this truck engine was so that I don't have to cut the hood up in the first place. That's option number 2. I'm not totally opposed to it, but I'd rather not. Option number 3 would be to get a different transmission cooler, set up some other kind of fan, and mount it in the front location where I thought it was going to be in the first place. I could also mount the steering cooler on the front somewhere without a fan, but due to the fact that this truck's not going to see a lot of speed and that it doesn't have radiator fans in the front, there wouldn't really be a whole lot of airflow in this, and so I would be relying on just fluid volume to cool down my transmission fluid anyway, making this cooler obsolete in the first place. Now, that option would let me use this fan back here by the radiator. Now, that option would allow me to just put this fan back here somewhere, but then I already have a fan on the radiator, so adding another one would be a little redundant. But I'm not opposed to the idea, because the distance for the transmission lines from where they come out of the transmission wouldn't be much longer to come to the back of the bed than it would be to go to the front of the cab. In reality, the best option would be to change out this winch for something that works a little better, but I like this winch. It fits perfect. I built the bumper for it. I already cut the grill, and everything is just how I want it. Personally, I'm leaning toward the other two options of either mounting this horizontally and putting a grill on the hood, or finding a unit that's probably that much smaller That way I can still get in there and operate that lever. So go ahead and leave me a comment down below. I will also put a post on my community page with these options. And based on my comments and my community and what I can find online for smaller radiators and fan, I'll make a decision. Or if you have any additional suggestions on where to put these two things that are reasonable and won't cost me a whole ton of money, then we can do a whole video on transmission cooling lines, cooler, and steering cooler lines. As always, God bless, and thank you for watching. It's 100% not perfect.